Hi, and welcome to New Parent Orientation for Cub Scout Pack 270. My name's Tim Howie, I'm the Cub Master for the pack, and today we're going to cover some general information on scouting, as well as some specific information on how the pack operates. And we'll also talk about the fundraising program that's in place right now to help cover the cost of the program. So first of all, let's talk about what scouting is. So scouting is a national program that is administered through what they refer to as chartered organizations. The chartered organization buys a charter for scouting units, and then they administer the scouting program. All the 270 units in Rosemont, Cub Scout Pack 270, Boy Scout Troop 270, and Venture Crew 270, are all chartered by the American Legion Post 65 in Rosemont. The Cub Scout program is for kids kindergarten through 4th grade, and the Boy Scout troop then covers 5th grade through when the boy turns 18, and the Venture Crew is a high adventure post for boys and girls age 14 through 21. So as I mentioned on the previous slide, our Cub Scout program goes from kindergarten through 4th grade. After 4th grade, the boys would then transition to the Boy Scout troop. So this is a slightly different model from the rest of the country. Most of the country still has its Cub Scout program going from 1st grade through 5th grade. The reason that we're a little bit different is because our council, the Northern Star Council, has 2 pilot programs going on right now. One of them is to shorten up the Webelos year from 2 years to 1 year. It used to span from 4th grade to 5th grade, but now it's only going to be for 4th grade, and then we transition the boys to the troop 1 year earlier. This is a 1-year pilot that we're involved with right now. Starting in 2015, all Cub Scout units will be transitioning over to this new model. On the other end of the spectrum here with our kindergartners, this is also a pilot program. It's been in place for about 4 years now in the council, where we've had a lion den made up of kindergartners. This is a particularly fun part of the program. That is the goal of the Lion Den, to get together, socialize, and have fun. So it's a way of extending the Cub Scout program down 1 year from when it's traditionally began, which we've found has really helped the kids adjust in and feel much more comfortable when they come join in their Tiger year. So the 5 different grades represent the 5 different dens of the pack. The pack is all boys in the entire Cub Scout program. When we talk about dens, that's all boys in that specific grade. So your son will have both a pack meeting each month as well as a den meeting. So the den is the heart and soul of the Cub Scout pack. A lot of activities happen as part of your den. From the meetings to go see it activities to progression through the different activities to earn your badge. Lions are on the lion badge, tigers are on the tiger badge, so on and so forth until you have Webelos, and the Webelos are earning their Era of Light, which is the culmination of the Cub Scout program and represents then the transition to Boy Scouts. The pack is run by parent leaders, and all these parent leaders are volunteers, and we all have sons that are in the pack. So let's take a look at the pack leadership structure. So as I mentioned, we have a chartered organization that holds the charter for the pack, and that would be American Legion Post 65. That chartered organization has a representative, in our case Brian Olson, who then oversees the entire scouting program, the pack, the troop, and the Venture Crew. Then the unit that actually does the planning and the real setup for the pack is the pack committee. The pack committee is headed by a pack committee chair, and then the pack committee is comprised of several parent volunteers who then have responsibility for different aspects of the program. Right now we have a pack secretary who helps deal with our forms, keeps the minutes, and is also the one that assembles the newsletters that you'll be getting each month. We have a pack treasurer who helps track down all of our money, keeps track of it, makes sure all the receipts come in. Now the pack has several accounts that we need to make sure are all balanced out, all the money is accounted for, and our treasurer takes care of that for us. And then we also have the very important activities chair. All the different activities that we do as a pack throughout the year, from the visit to the pumpkin patch, to the street cleanups, to the visit to the vet's home. All these different activities are coordinated through our activities chair. The activities chair does have several helpers with her. So somebody to help oversee the Pinewood Derby that we have coming up in February. Also a wreaths coordinator and a popcorn coordinator to keep our fundraising running on through and running smoothly. So the first direct leader, the one that you'll actually see standing up in front of the pack, is then the Cub Master. So the Cub Master is the one that runs pack level activities and also runs the monthly pack meeting. So ideally we'd like to have at least one, if not two, assistant Cub Masters. Right now we don't have any, but we're definitely looking. And then we have our den leaders. So 5 den leaders for each of our 5 dens. So this chart is a national style chart. It doesn't show the lion cubs. But we do have a lion cub den leader, a tiger cub den leader, the Cub Scout den leaders, which would be the wolf and the bear den leaders, and then the Webelos den leaders. And then ideally we'd like to have an assistant leader for each one of those as well. For the bears and the Webelos, we'll also have one of the Boy Scouts helping out at the den meetings, and we refer to these as den chiefs. A note on the Lion Cub and the Tiger Cub program. These are a 1-to-1 ratio that we have at all of their activities. So at your time of registration, you designate an adult partner. This does not mean that the adult partner is the only one that can go to the activities. If, say, Dad's busy one night, Mom can certainly go in Dad's place and be the Scout's adult partner for that. But at all their meetings, activities, we do need to have one adult to go with each one of the boys. Now we have a motto in Cub Scouts. It's do your best. People oftentimes ask me, what is my obligation? And I always tell people there is not an obligation. It's not like somebody's going to come over and slap your hand because you didn't show up to something. You come to what you can. If you have to miss something, you have to miss it. There is no obligation on your part to attend everything. If there's something that does not interest you, if you have other plans, if this is your date for the family reunion, life is going on too at the same time that Cub Scouts is going on. This is not a high-pressure environment. This is low pressure. We are here to have fun with a purpose. So we want to help your boy grow up, but we want to help him to expand out his horizons, learn good service, and the 12 points of the Scout Law. We do not want to teach people how to have high amounts of stress and to not be able to enjoy the activities they do. We want everyone to enjoy what they're doing. So fun with a purpose is definitely what we're going for, and the only thing that we do ask of each one of the boys is that you do your best. Now let's talk a little bit about the pack budget. So every year in around the May-June time frame, we have a meeting of the PAC's parent committee, and we set the budget for the next year and also the next year's calendar of events. So at the time that this budget is put together, it's based off of an expected number of boys that we'll have in, which for this year we're anticipating around 35 boys inside the pack. And then when we do our recruiting in September and October, we may make some tweaks to the budget based on how many boys came in. So if we have a massive influx of boys and we end up at 45, we might have to increase some budget items. Or if we come up a little bit low on our numbers, we might have to drop the budget down some. So the budget is covering the annual activities that we do. It's going to go from one school year to the next, starting in September and through the end of the following summer. So let's talk a little bit about the cost of scouting then. So if you've already registered, you've already paid the top cost I have listed here, the charter fee that's paid to the council. So if you registered in September, there would have been $8 to cover the rest of this year, and then $24 to cover the entire 2015 calendar year. So if you registered online, which I believe everyone has done at this point, then you would have paid $32, and you're now good on that through December 2015. If you've elected to have Boys Life delivered, which is a fantastic magazine, comes out each month addressed to your child, they love it, they love reading it, they love getting it, and it's only $12 for an entire year, $1 a month. So it's a great option to pick up. So that is what we pay to the council for your boy to be registered in Scouts. Then there's the pack dues. This is what comes back up to the budget that we just talked about. The way that we make our budget is we set the amount, which is around $2,100 for this next year, and then we split that out by the number of boys that we have in the pack. So the number might come out a little bit below $60 if we have enough boys in the pack. More boys tends to spread out the fixed costs a little bit more. But we will never have pack dues that exceed $60. That is the maximum amount that we charge for pack dues. So that's what I always tell people to plan for. It might be lower, which is fantastic, but we know it will not be more than that. So that is, for most people, paid through fundraising, and we'll get to that one in a minute. Now, there are some other individual costs that do come with scouting. The cost of buying the uniform. You need to provide the Class A uniform, which is the blue button-up shirt with the neckerchief and slide. And then the pack will provide you with the Class B uniform, which is a t-shirt. It's a blue t-shirt, yellow lettering, designates our pack. So there is a little bit of cost with the uniform. Also, camp fees for our Polar Cub camp in January, Camp Akela in June. There are some fees that come with those camps. So, plus, depending on what activities your dens do, if you go to the Minnesota Zoo, then there'd be the admission cost to the zoo. That's all depending on what you as a den decide to do with your time. And then there's also equipment. This last August, we did a pack camp out down at North Strand Big Woods. So there's the cost of, say, a sleeping bag, tent, anything like that. So those are some individual costs that you might want to plan on. Now, a bit of good news I'll give you on the individual costs is that anything that costs money for scouting can be covered out of your fundraising dollars. Every scout gets a scout account, and the fundraising money goes into that individual scout account. So, come next year when it's time for recharter, which usually happens around October of each year, that $24 next year, you can pay that out of your scout account. $12 for Boys Life, you can pay that out of your scout account. Your pack dues, that's usually paid out of your scout account too. We collect those shortly after fundraising is when those become due. And also the individual costs. If your child outgrows his uniform, you can go down to the scout store, get a new one. If you have money in your scout account, bring the receipt into our pack treasurer, and he'll be able to reimburse you for that expense. Also, any of your camping equipment. If you do not have a tent and you're coming on the August camp out, you can use your scout account to cover the cost of that camping equipment. You just have to have enough money in your scouting account to do so, and that's where fundraising comes in. So, the best way to pay for it, why write a check when you can just pay it out of your scout account? So we have two fundraisers, and both of them just kicked off on September 19th, and they'll go through the end of October. Now, just a couple of general notes on fundraising before we get into the two specific fundraisers we do, the popcorn and the wreath sales. So, whenever your scout is out fundraising, an adult should be with your scout at all times. We don't want any boys going around the neighborhoods by themselves, so we always do want adults and kids going together. And also, I do encourage all of our adults to go through youth protection training. It's available online. If you're interested in doing so, please talk to me about it, and I'll show you how to get to it. But we also do have a safety rule in Scouts that's called 2 Deep Leadership. So if your scout is going to go with another scout from the pack to do fundraising, then we'll need to have 2 adults with them at all times. So the only time that we can have one-on-one between an adult and a scout is when that adult is that scout's parent. A scout should never be alone with an adult who is not that scout's parent. So please do keep that in mind if you decide to go sailing with another scout, that both parents should go with them. So, on the topic of wreaths, So our wreath coordinator this year is Jason Mead. He's graciously stepped forward and said that he would help out with our wreath sale. So he did a presentation to the pack at our last pack meeting here, so I'm going to cover some of the information that he talked about. So when you go around selling wreaths, you're going to find that a lot of people are waiting for you to show up. This has been a local tradition for at least 30 years, if not more. In fact, back when I was a young old tiger cub myself, we were doing wreath sales in this area back then as well. So for quite a while that's been around. And to be quite honest, the wreaths are a very, very easy sell. So we do have several different products. I have 2 links up on here. I've also included them in the email that has the YouTube link for this video so that you have something you can click on rather than having to type the entire link in. So you can go back to your email, you can click on it. And there is an info sheet, which is the top link here, the wreath sales link, that goes into a sales pitch and also the dates in which things are due, and that you should be collecting the money at the time that you make the sale. So when you're going around collecting a name, address, so what kind of wreath they want to get, at the time that they order the wreath, you should collect the money. So check out the wreath sales for a little bit more info on that. So the wreaths should be coming into Jason Mead's garage the week of Thanksgiving. And then once when you have those wreaths, he'll be sending out when people can come by to pick those up. One thing I remind people about the wreaths is that anyone that buys a wreath from you is going to be expecting that you deliver the wreath. So you sell the wreaths, go around, you collect names, what kind of wreaths. The wreath info, the second link on here, has pictures, and the price for each one of the wreaths. So you get all that information. There's a turn-in sheet that's part of the wreath sales packet, the top link here. That's what you bring back into Jason. Then you pick those up in his garage and you deliver that to each one of the houses that bought a wreath from you. So one thing I like to mention is if you do bring this into work and you have somebody from Andover order a wreath from you, you may end up delivering a wreath in Andover. So do be aware that you do need to bring the wreath back out to that house. So do think about geographic location as you're selling your wreaths. So door-to-door tends to work out really good because then you have a lot of wreaths to deliver in a really fixed area. So if you have any questions on the wreath sales, or if you would like to get one of the hard packets rather than one of the print-offs or the electronic copies, make sure that you contact Jason Mead. I believe he does still have some of the wreath forms available if you'd like to come pick those up. And now the popcorn sale. So we're also selling popcorn. This one does work a little bit different. So the popcorn is currently in Jeff Coda's garage. So every Thursday he's having a pickup time. So if you want to come pick up product to sell, you can load it up in your little red wagon and bring it door to door and actually sell it and give it to your customer at the same time, so you don't have to go back and deliver it later. If you would like to go door to door and with a flyer and have people write down the popcorn they want and deliver it later, you can do that too. Also, because this is the National Scout fundraiser, it is possible to sell it online. So I believe that Jeff Coda has some information as to how you can set up an online account and actually have anyone anywhere in the country buy popcorn and they will deliver it to them. So if somebody from Alabama buys popcorn from your son, now there's a delivery date that Trails and the vendor for our popcorn will deliver those to that particular customer in Alabama. So there is something nice to be said about that. Also for the popcorn, we're going to be having 3 storefront sales. So in front of Holiday here in Rosemont, the one that's at 42 at Chippendale. If you would like to sign up for one of those, make sure that you contact Jeff Coda. They may be full. The sign-up lists were up at the last pack meeting. But there's also the opportunity to set up your own storefront if you'd like. Just get some, let Jeff know about it so that he knows to bring the product to you for that particular storefront sale, and then you can set it up with the manager over at the Holiday Station here in Rosemont. So that's always an option as well. Now with the popcorn sales, because it is the national fundraiser for Scouting, there are some prizes that go along with it that are explained inside the popcorn flyer. So, well, once again, if you would like to get your hands on a hard copy of that flyer, make sure that you talk to Jeff Coda about it. He still has several copies of that left. Or if you go to buyscoutpopcorn.com, you can get an electronic copy of that same flyer. So there's different prizes for different levels of selling. And I believe it's at $1,300 where you're entered into a Disney World trip. So for a 4-day, 3-night stay with park passes down at Disney World. So some fun stuff to be had with that. So in terms of the funds for the popcorn, 35% of the total sale goes directly into your Scouts account. So if you look in the flyer, you'll see that 70% goes to support Scouting. And the way that's split up is that 35% of it goes to the council to fund the council camps and the council programs, and 35% of it is sent to the PAC. Now, because our PAC does PAC dues, the $60 PAC dues, we do not hold any money out of the fundraising. So there's two primary ways that Cub Scout PACs in our area finance their programs. One is through taking a portion of the fundraising sales into the PAC account, and one is through charging PAC dues, and we follow the PAC dues model. So the full 35% of the fundraising goes to your Scout straight into their Scout account. For the wreaths, the percent margin is a little bit different based on what product it is that you're selling. The best margin is the basic wreath, the 25-inch wreath. That one has a 41% margin, and most of the time it averages out to be roughly 40% is what you can expect your margin to be on the wreaths. And then the other 60% goes to pay for the product. Once again, the PAC does not take any kind of cut out of your son's fundraising. That goes entirely to your son's PAC account. One other incentive that I'm going to mention as well is that between your popcorn and your wreath sales, for every $500 that you sell, we'll also take and get you a $25 Target gift card. So $500 between both, that's one $25 gift card. If you sell $1,500 worth of product, we would get you a $75 gift card to Target. Just a nice little way for your Scout to go get themselves a little something for a job well done. So let's cover some frequently asked questions from new parents. So there is the I have a question question. I have a question, I'm not sure who to ask. Well, generally speaking, if it's something about a PAC level activity, if it's something that everyone's going to do together in the entire PAC, you want to come ask me about it, the Cub Master. If it's something that's specific to your den, then you want to go ask your den leader about it. And if you're really not sure who you're supposed to ask, it's kind of an oddball question, or you're just not sure who to approach, find any leader inside the PAC, and if they don't have an answer for you, they know who does, and they will get you in touch with them. So any of us, we want to help you, and make sure you ask us our questions. So you should have my contact information, both my phone number and my email. Feel free to call me, shoot me an email, let me know, and I'll do whatever I can to get your questions answered for you. And then there's also the question, I need to go get a Class A uniform, where do I go? Well, we have a convenient Scout shop located just over in Barnesville. It's right behind Chianti Grill in the same strip mall as PetSmart. So, straight shot down 42, right on Plymouth Avenue, take a left into the parking lot, and it's on your right side. In terms of what you need to get, it's real easy, they're very helpful, and they've helped out thousands, literally thousands of people before. You walk into the store and say, I have a new lion cub in PAC 270. What do I need? And they will get you all set up. So head on down there. They're great. They're fabulous people, and they will get you everything that you need. And then for some of you that may not have registered yet, so if you haven't registered yet, we have a new online registration system, which is way better than last year when we were filling out tons and tons of paper applications. So if you go to rocketintoscouting.org, you can look up a pack by elementary school, by zip code, by pack number. We're pretty easy to find. So pack number 270, we're part of the Prairie Lakes District of the Northern Star Council. We're associated with Rosemont Elementary School in the Rosemont zip code. So if you find pack 270, just do a quick check. You'll see Tim Howie listed as the unit contact, and you can register right online. The $32 for your charter fees you pay right online, so everything gets taken care of in one big package. Once when you do register, they shoot me an email saying that you registered, and everything's been going very, very smoothly with that, especially considering that it's only a month-old system. So head on over into rocketintoscouting.org and you will be all set. So if you have any other questions on any other kind of items, any issues, so if you need some material, if you just need to even just sound off an opinion on something, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, give me a phone call, let me know, and I want to make sure that you have a great start out here to your scouting year. Well, that's all I got for you tonight, so y'all take care, and I'll see you at the next pack activity.